Building wealth on an average salary might seem like an impossible dream. You might look at your paycheck and wonder how you could ever accumulate real money when you're living paycheck to paycheck. But the truth is, building wealth isn't about earning a six-figure income. It's about making intentional choices with the money you do earn. Thousands of people have built substantial wealth starting from modest incomes, and you can too. The first principle of building wealth on an average salary is understanding that it's not about how much you make, it's about how much you keep. This is the fundamental difference between rich people and poor people. A person earning $100,000 a year can be broke if they spend everything they earn. Meanwhile, someone earning $40,000 a year can become a millionaire if they're disciplined about saving. The gap between your income and your expenses is where wealth is built. That gap is your opportunity. Start by tracking every single dollar you spend for 30 days. Don't judge yourself, just observe. Write down your morning coffee, your lunch, your streaming subscriptions, everything. Most people are shocked when they see where their money actually goes. You might discover you're spending $50 a week on coffee alone, or $150 on subscriptions you don't even use. These small leaks don't seem significant in the moment, but they add up to thousands of dollars every year. And thousands of dollars every year is exactly what you need to build wealth. Once you've tracked your spending, it's time to create a budget. Now, I know the word budget sounds restrictive and depressing, but a budget is actually freedom. A budget is you telling your money where to go instead of wondering where it went. Start simple. Separate your expenses into 3 categories: essentials, non-essentials, and savings. Essentials are things you absolutely need to survive. Housing, food, utilities, transportation. These usually take up 50 to 60% of an average salary. Non-essentials are everything else. Entertainment, dining out, hobbies, shopping. This is where you find your cuts. And savings is your wealth-building category. You need to commit to saving at least 10% of your income. If you make $3,000 a month, that's $300. If you make $5,000 a month, that's $500. Put this money somewhere you can't touch it easily. Open a separate savings account at a different bank if you have to. The goal is to make accessing this money inconvenient enough that you don't spend it on impulse. Your future self will thank you for making this sacrifice today. Now here's where things get interesting. That money you're saving isn't just sitting there losing value to inflation. The most powerful tool for building wealth on an average salary is compound interest. Albert Einstein allegedly called compound interest the 8th wonder of the world, and for good reason. When you invest money, it earns returns. Those returns earn their own returns, and suddenly your money is growing exponentially without you doing anything. This is the secret that wealthy people have known for centuries. Let's look at a concrete example. Suppose you're 25 years old, and you start investing $500 every month into a diversified index fund that returns an average of 9% per year, which is historically reasonable for the stock market. By the time you're 65, you will have invested $240,000. But your account balance will be approximately $2.2 million. The difference, almost $2 million, came entirely from compound interest. You didn't earn that money, your money earned it. That's the power of starting early and staying consistent. The key to making this work is understanding that you need to invest in assets that generate returns. A savings account at your bank, earning 0.01% interest, is not going to build wealth. You need to invest in the stock market. Now, the stock market intimidates a lot of people. They think they need to pick individual stocks or time the market perfectly. This is wrong. The best approach for most people is to invest in low-cost index funds. An index fund is a basket of stocks that tracks a market index like the S&P 500. When you buy one share of an S&P 500 index fund, you own a tiny piece of 500 companies. You're instantly diversified. You don't need to pick winners. You just need to own the market. Start by opening a brokerage account. There are many options available today, and most of them don't charge any fees to open an account or make trades. You can invest through a traditional brokerage, or you can use a retirement account like a 401k if your employer offers one, or an individual retirement account, known as an IRA. A 401k is particularly powerful because many employers offer matching contributions. If your employer matches 50% of your contributions up to 6% of your salary, that's free money. You should always contribute enough to get the full match. That's an immediate 50% return on your money. You can't get that anywhere else. Beyond investing, you need to focus on increasing your income over time. While an average salary might not seem like much, your salary doesn't have to stay average forever. As you gain experience and skills, your earning potential increases. This is the second lever you have to build wealth. While most people focus only on cutting expenses, they ignore the fact that increasing income is often easier and more sustainable. Cutting expenses has limits. Eventually, you can't cut much more without severely impacting your quality of life. But increasing income has almost no limit. Invest in your education and skills. Take courses related to your field. Learn new technologies that are in demand. If you work in technology, learn new programming languages. If you work in marketing, if you work in sales, learn about negotiation and persuasion. These skills will make you more valuable to your employer and more marketable to other employers. As you become more skilled, you become more valuable, and valuable people earn more money. A 10% raise might seem small, but over 30 years, that compounds significantly. Don't be afraid to change jobs to increase your income. Loyalty to a company is nice, but companies have no loyalty to you. They will replace you if they can save money. The fastest way to increase your salary is often to change employers. When you change jobs, you might get a 15 to 30% raise. When you stay in the same job, you might get a 3 to 5% raise. After 10 job changes versus staying in one company, the person who changed jobs will likely earn significantly more. Keep your resume updated. Keep your skills current. Always be open to new opportunities. You can also build wealth by starting a side business. This doesn't mean you need to quit your job and become an entrepreneur. It means you use your skills and your time to generate additional income outside of your primary job. Maybe you're good at writing, so you freelance as a writer. Maybe you're good at design, so you create design work for clients. Maybe you have a skill like tutoring or consulting that you can offer to people who need it. Even $500 a month from a side business is $6,000 a year. Over 30 years, that's $180,000, and that's before compound interest on the money you invested. While you're building wealth through income and investment, you also need to protect your wealth. This means managing your debt carefully. Not all debt is bad. A mortgage for a house is generally good debt because you're buying an appreciating asset. A car loan for reliable transportation is acceptable, though ideally you should buy used cars with cash once you have enough savings. But credit card debt is toxic. Credit card interest rates are typically 18 to 25% annually. This is money flowing out of your pocket directly to the credit card company. It's wealth destruction. If you have credit card debt, your first priority should be paying it off. Stop investing in the stock market temporarily if you need to. The 18% guaranteed return from eliminating credit card debt beats the 9% average stock market return. Build an emergency fund as well. This is separate from your investment account. Your emergency fund should contain 3 to 6 months of living expenses in a regular savings account. This prevents you from going into debt when unexpected expenses occur. Your car breaks down, your roof leaks, medical emergency. Without an emergency fund, people go into credit card debt, which destroys their wealth-building momentum. With an emergency fund, you handle the crisis and move on. This is fundamental to long-term wealth building. One of the most underrated aspects of building wealth on an average salary is developing the right mindset. You need to see yourself as someone capable of building wealth, not as someone stuck in poverty. This sounds like motivation speak, but it's actually practical. When you believe you can build wealth, you make different choices. You're more likely to research investment options. You're more likely to ask for a raise. You're more likely to start a side business. You're more likely to turn down expensive purchases that don't align with your goals. Mindset determines actions, and actions determine results. Read books about money and investing. Your library probably has dozens of them for free. Follow blogs and podcasts about personal finance. Surround yourself with people who take their finances seriously. You become like the people you spend time with. If all your friends are spending money on expensive dinners and luxury cars, you'll feel pressure to do the same. But if your friends are also saving and investing, you'll feel supported in your decisions. This peer influence is incredibly powerful. Sometimes the best investment you can make is spending time with people who share your financial values. Remember that building wealth is a marathon, not a sprint. You're not going to become rich next month or even next year. But if you stay consistent for 10, 20, or 30 years, the results will be astonishing. Most millionaires built their wealth slowly through consistent saving and investing, not through lottery winnings or inheritance. They made boring choices with their money for decades. They drove regular cars. They lived in modest homes. They ate at home most of the time. They invested their money in index funds and let compound interest do the work. And eventually they became very wealthy. The beautiful part about building wealth on an average salary is that it's entirely within your control. You can't control what salary your employer offers you. You can't control what the stock market does in any given year. But you can control how much you spend. You can control how much you save. You can control what you invest in. You can control what skills you develop. You can control what habits you build. These are the levers you have, and these levers, when pulled consistently, will move mountains. Start today. Don't wait for next month or next year. Open a savings account if you don't have one. Track your spending for the next 30 days. Create a budget. Set up automatic transfers to move 10% of your paycheck to savings before you even see it. Open a brokerage account and make your first investment. These actions might seem small, but they're the first dominoes in a chain reaction that will transform your financial life. Every millionaire started exactly where you are. The difference is they took action. They started small, they stayed consistent, and they let time and compound interest do the heavy lifting. You can do the same. Your path to wealth is waiting. All you have to do is take the first step.